The group was founded about 15 years ago with the aim to provide the market with high design, high-end, high-quality properties, both residential and commercial. We recognized a gap in the market at the time and an ongoing demand about this kind of properties. And this is exactly what we do. We're lucky enough to be working with a very young and talented team of both colleagues and employees, and also external associates. And we have managed to, in these last 15 years, to create a portfolio of enviable properties and establish a reputation for the group of high customer satisfaction as well. We aim to keep Imperio at the forefront of creating remarkable properties. At the same time, the behavior of the group is rather opportunistic. We seek for gaps in the market and we reflect on these opportunities. What we don't compromise is the quality of our design, of our construction, but we tend to price our properties depending on the opportunities of the market. The vision is to keep the group as one of the most reputable property groups of the island and also expand to international operations. In recent years, we have expanded to similar property-related activities in the UK, and given other opportunities, we can look at other countries as well. We recognize the gap in the luxury sector because at the time luxury properties in Cyprus meant the main characteristic was the location. They were beachfront properties, not so much the interior amenities and exterior architecture. So we managed to add these elements into the description of a luxury property, and we didn't target the very high end of the market. So we compromised a little bit on the location, moving a step back behind the front line, which actually gave us the opportunity to offer these high-end properties for the wider public. I can say that we probably target the top 20% of the market, but not top, let's say, 2 or 3%. These are not super prime properties in terms of location, but it's probably the best properties you can find on the market in terms of interior design and construction quality. With regards to the contribution to the island's economy and GDP, the sector is one of the main pillars of the economies in Cyprus. We have gone as a property sector from being probably the number 2 to a lot smaller during the crisis as the reduction of the construction activity. And now we have entered the phase of recovery, seriously increasing the numbers of the activity every year. On the sales side, the numbers are increased by approximately 20%, the sales volume nationwide on an annual basis, and again contributing significantly to the economy of Cyprus. LionGlobal originated in Cyprus, and as a response to demand from our international clients to invest not only in Cyprus but in the main capitals of Europe as well. And not only investing for the purpose of investment, but also many times relocating existing activities from different countries to Cyprus or to London or Madrid or Amsterdam. So it was a market response more than anything else, and we managed to form a very highly educated team that has the information from the major property markets in Europe, and again to educate and correctly advise clients on this matter. Yes, in Cyprus we've been involved in some very highly respected deals, always property related because it's a property advisory firm, and we are also in a position to be able to extract the right conclusions having analyzed all the data of the market. We have strong presence in 3 continents. A vast majority of our sales are to non-Cypriots or people who don't live on the island. So we have a strong presence in foreign countries, promoting these properties and promoting the country. as a whole. We are in a unique position to be able to study the behavior and the requirements of international buyers. We have teams that travel the globe on a monthly basis, and they bring feedback to us. Also, we are lucky to be able to get serious feedback and comments from our international network. So by studying the requirements of these sophisticated property buyers from foreign countries, we're able to adapt to them, adapt to the criteria and to the requirements, not only by adapting our property requirements and the characteristic of our properties, but also of our practices. We employ people from several countries that give us an edge on understanding local cultures, and also the fact that we are rated very highly in terms of customer satisfaction makes us feel quite confident that we are doing something right. The Icon is a flagship building in Limassol because of its size, first of all, and architecture. It's a building that will define the skyline of the city for the decades to come. We are very lucky to have the opportunity to design and build such a building at this stage in time. Our team has been very creative with the way that we design public spaces in this development, in the Icon. We have created a public level on the 10th and 11th floor, giving the opportunity to people who live in Limassol, Limassolians, or people who visit, to actually visit the 10th floor and enjoy panoramic views of the Mediterranean Sea and the city, something that the city was missing throughout its history. As a kid who grew up in the city, we never had the chance to go up in one of the city's buildings, even if they were a little bit shorter. I think the highest was about 8 floors. We never had the chance to go into these buildings to see panoramic views of the city. And now Limassolians will have this opportunity. Apart from this feature, we have serious benefits to the property owners in the building in terms of amenities that are provided within the building. And of course, in these landmark developments, the biggest advantage and the biggest benefit is the unobstructed sea views. The Icon is located only 200 meters from the coastline, and every property on the tower will have unobstructed sea views, not only of the sea, but the whole coastline of Limassol from east, where all the hotels are located, to the west, where the Limassol Marina is located. We should highlight the serious benefits that the society has out of these developments, which are namely the reduced coverage of the buildings. So by building a high-rise development as opposed to a normal development, you have the opportunity to restrict the size of the building by going up in height, and that gives you the opportunity to give more public spaces on the ground floor, like green areas, public squares. At the same time, these kind of developments solve a chronic problem of Limassol, of the city, which is the parking issue. Each of these developments provides a huge number of parking spaces for public use, dedicated for public use. So these are serious advantages. At the same time, we should, as a society, we should decide what we want. Instead of having a 21-floor building as the Icon, we could have a number of low-rise buildings. I think the allowed height in the area is about 6 or 7 floors. We could have 3 or 4 buildings that will actually not give all these benefits to the society and will create other kind of issues. Because the market demands a certain number of units on an annual basis. Even if we do it in a high-rise development or in a number of low-rise developments, the units will have to be built because there is demand from the public. So we need to find the best way to provide this number of units to the market. Maybe I should also clarify that the vision of Limassol is not to become a city like Dubai with a few thousand high-rise buildings. I think the buildings that have been designed and are under and have been either permitted or are under examination, it's no more than 10. So we should put everything probably in context and understand really what the vision of the city is. The main factors that affect the demand in real estate is the trust in the economy of Cyprus, and by being one of the best performing economies in Europe, it's a very important factor. The trust in the government, by having an investor-friendly government, is also very high up in the priority of international investors. And of course, the general conditions in the real estate market. The fact that the market is not leveraged at all right now gives even more confidence to international investors, because they can see that it's a real market, it's not a debt-driven market. The citizenship scheme has contributed to the sales volume in the past years, but again, we need to see the numbers to be able to get to the right conclusions. If I'm not mistaken, last year we had around 500 successful applicants. I believe that the average number of properties per applicant is 2, so more or less 1,000 properties have been purchased because of this scheme, in a country that sold almost 9,000 properties. So the dependency on this scheme is around 15%. As we expect the number of annual sales to increase, the dependency will come even lower. Now, with regards to the roof that the government has imposed on successful citizenship applicants, I feel confident that this shall not impact the market at all. It's already, I think, 20% higher than the most successful year. So I do not believe that it should have any serious impact on the market, on the real estate market. Yes, we've been very vocal that this is the time for international property buyers to invest in Cyprus real estate. The market has been recovering since the crisis a few years ago. It shows serious signs of increasing the sale volume on an annual basis. So these are very good signs, and this coupled with the very good performance of the economy, the credit rating upgrades, and the overall investors' confidence into the economy and to the country, really it's the time to invest. If I'm not mistaken, the first year that recorded a price increase in terms of the values of the properties was last year, and that was a very reasonable price increase, around 3 to 4%. I previously stated that we would expect this trend to continue. We would expect a similar increase for the years to come, simply because the demand is higher than the supply. The market tries to have the maximum possible output to provide the maximum number of units so we can satisfy the current demand, and that property price increase in the region of 3 to 4% is only reasonable. As a contribution to the economy, again, because we are increasing the sales volume, the real estate market is becoming again a very serious player, a very important pillar for the economy. And again, the Cypriot economy has shown that time and time again can rely on the real estate sector being one of its important GDP contributors. Well, for us personally, okay, there is always opportunities for Imperio, and in this market, even in the times of crisis, opportunities were created, and as the market expands, we have more opportunities and we have more tools. As the international investors' confidence in Cyprus grows, we have more tools to promote the country as a top investment destination.